All right, first fight on the main card: Diego Lima against Matt Brown.
Yeah. This will be nasty, won't it?
It will be nasty.
This will be guaranteed nasty.
It will. But this is the kind of fight that Matt Brown can get into, though. Like he struggled with Condit, but that's because Matt Brown can be a bit reckless, and Condit can be a real sharp fighter. You know, he can make good decisions. Lima holds back too much for me. Like he overanalyzes and overthinks a lot of things. Like you saw that in the Bilal Muhammad fight, where Muhammad's just walking him down, and just every time you could see Lima was about to throw something, Bilal Muhammad just bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was probably a conscious thing from Bilal Muhammad because he could see that gap in his game. That's Matt Brown's MO. That's exactly what he does.
He's coming.
And if he closes you down with hands, then he starts smashing you with those elbows.
If someone doesn't get opened up here, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Matt Brown's he's an OG and he's been around forever. We'd love to organise a fight for you two at some stage.
Well, we had one, didn't we?
Yeah,
we had one.
But he is what he is. Like he's not changed in the last 10 fights. He is what he is. He's tough. He's just a hard human being, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a wheelbarrow full of rocks kind of conditioning guy, and
bag of
you know what
spanners, I mean? But I mean, I think Lima he'll try and hack at him. He's got some nice leg kicks, hasn't he? That's the thing that sort of stood out. He has got a nice kicking game, and I think he'll try and hack at him and beat him up from the outside. Maybe he likes to try and play that counter striking game, which is not going to be a problem with Matt. Matt's going to come at you, so if you are going to counter strike, then it'll be there for you. But he can't pause, and he can't wait on that. He's going to have to let stuff go, otherwise Matt's going to get inside and he's going to smash him up and open him up, and it's going to be a bloody mess, isn't it?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And if you think about the shots that actually land on Matt Brown, the ones that hurt him are the ones that when someone's travelled through with a couple of shots to set up the next one, you kind of need him backing up and moving away. Yeah. Because if he's moving forward and you're hitting him with shots, generally he can walk through those a bit because he's got that forward intention. But when he's backing up and he's moving, obviously he's a little bit more relaxed because he's being defensive. Cowboy pinged him with that head kick.
Yeah.
And that's where I think Lima is going to struggle because he generally is a bit.
It doesn't suit him, that does it?
Not really.
The easiest, well, not the easiest, but one of the paths to beating Matt, Lima just doesn't seem to have that in his arsenal, does he? I haven't seen him do that.
No.
So
I mean, if I'm Lima and I'm I just don't see him travelling forward with a multitude of shots. But if he is throwing single shots, he'd do well to work the body of Matt Brown because that has been a weakness in the past as well.
For a while, yeah.
Like long left hook.
Yeah.
I think it's Lima's to lose, but I'm not saying he won't lose it.
I'm back in there. I'm back in the old school.
Oh yeah, you're going with
Brown.
Brown.
In the old school. Brown's going to finish him with a cut.
With a cup.
Cut.
Oh, you're going to say
cup, no,
he's going to glass him.
Shot. He's going to cup shot. Cup
Nut
shot him. No.
What the fuck, bro?
My balls.
I was right in my balls.
My balls.
Okay. Wellington Turman against Bruno Silva. How many Bruno Silvas are there on the roster?
Yeah, a lot, but I think they all have actual long names.
You reckon?
Bruno Silva will do.
Well, let's see if it says it on his Tapology page. Oh, he does, yeah. Bruno Arruda da Silva.
He's just
that's
bit,
not too bad.
He's a bit geary.
Oh, he's
a bit geary. I think he did 2 years for Boldenone.
Did he really? Yeah. What's that?
Steroids.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, he has been fighting in M1.
Yeah, I know. He probably came with the contract, maybe.
He probably thought it was some kind of vaccine.
Well, everyone else is doing it. But before he served that suspension, mate, he was knocking people out. A lot of them very quickly. He's got got a lot of power. He just seems very, very difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
And I think it could go that way there, depending on how he comes back from the suspension.
Oh, he's been out for a good bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, a couple of years.
So his bout with Deron Winn was cancelled, and that was the 22nd. So that's almost exactly 2 years, but not quite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez. All right then. Well, we'll see, won't we? Because that was also his UFC debut. So he made it to the roster and never made it to the octagon, which doesn't bode well considering he's got loads of first round knockouts, and then he signed with the UFC and immediately failed a drug test. Now you're going.
It's not good. It makes you think he's been on that you know, I don't want to cast too many aspersions. It makes you think this is the thing we've talked about this. There's not only a physical advantage, disadvantage of performance enhancing drugs, but to the person taking them, there's a huge psychological disadvantage if that is taken away from you. If you fail a drug test and you are no longer on drugs, there's a chasm of like belief in yourself that you've been masking by using these drugs. And now he's going to have to come out and fight in the UFC, which you would consider a level up to what he's fought at, without his super pills behind him. You know, and it will be very, very interesting to see what that does.
Just psychologically is it a deficit, let alone
Massive.
You know what it's going to do, the difference it's going to have physically. I mean, you know, as we've said with other fighters, you know, that he'll maintain some of the benefits because he'll be able to train up past the previous level that he could when he was natural.
Yeah.
But
I think that's overridden by the chasm that's left by your security blanket not being there anymore. You know.
yeah,
It you know, it's dangerous. I see it outside of sport. I see it in the general population of 20-something-year-old males who are on gear and doing coke at the weekends, and that's taken away from them, and then their life's
nothing.
devastated.
Yeah,
nothing.
Not only do their hormones drop, but their self-confidence crashes and their egos.
You know, then
sure.
you know it's rife, and it's a sad state because there's a lot of male suicide, isn't there? A lot of it. It seems to be getting worse. I just seem to hear about something every week, and it's sad. And I genuinely believe that combination is something to do with it.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Putting the world to rights today.
Right, there we go.
Right.
Truman, I was just a bit. It was just like, yeah, all right. It's just a mid-tier developing sort of fighter coming up, and he just needs some time at the coalface. He's got some decent sort of attacks. He used that southpaw pull a couple of times against Perez. I was like, oh shit, I recognise that. That's a nice bit of striking, and he's got some good skills in the clinch. I just wasn't particularly blown away.
No,
it just seems a mid-tierer.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, split decision loss to Robertson. Ground and pound loss to Andrew Sanchez, who you know, Andrew Sanchez is a good grappler, but he's not a world beater.
Yeah.
And then that fight against Marcus Perez, like, you can make a fight more difficult for yourself, and when you fight someone like Marcus Perez, you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And you can either play that game with him and make it really difficult for yourself, or you can fight smart.
Game.
You know,
yeah.
He uses the southpaw pull, but not nearly as much as he should.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Gets a bit stuck on his feet. And you know, we just don't know what we're going to get with Bruno Silva because he's not actually made his UFC debut yet.
Well, I mean, it's tough to make a pick. It sort of depends which Silva turns up, what he looks like after this suspension, what his game is now. You know.
What was he on? What did he fail for?
Baldanone.
Baldanone,
yeah.
Well, at least we know his new nickname then.
Yeah.
Bruno Baldanone Silva.
Yeah.
Works. It's got a ring to it.
I mean, you know what? I don't know whether that was attributed to contaminated supplements or he was just straight jabbing it in his ass. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what, but who knows? But you fail.
Contaminated supplements.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Julian Erosa against Seung-Woo Choi.
Yeah. A lot of time for Julian Erosa.
He's a real problem for everybody,
Yeah.
just with his experience. He's tricky, he's tough. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys that just will not go away.
No.
He will not go away.
Well, he nearly went away, didn't he, off a three fight loss.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
And now he's on a 3-fight streak, and he's had 2 chokes and a flying knee to cement that as a bit of a streak.
Mm-hmm.
He's good, man. I like him. Who did he take on short notice? We talked about him the other week. He dropped in on short notice. I think the Wednesday before or something. Dropped in and won it
on the UFC.
I can't remember. It would be someone maybe we talked.
It would have probably been his debut.
Yeah.
Or no, was it Jamal Emmers? Were they?
Yeah, maybe.
Did they bring him in to try and pick up a win for Jamal Emmers, and he got a fight cancelled? Perhaps. Let's have a quick look.
He's good anyway. I've got a lot of time for him. Who did he fight last? No, it can't have been last time out.
You up?
It can't have been last time out.
No. I think it would have been. Those kind of circumstances are usually a re-signing to the UFC, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, good flying knee knockout of a late Nate Landwehr. Difficult to predict. You know, he goes from a Darce choke to a flying knee finish. You know, he's got nearly 40 fights on his
And
record.
Landwehr's not easy to put away. You know what I mean? He's a
No,
durable cat, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. And Sung Woo Choi's he's a very tricky long range fighter. But who did he fight? Let me pull up his record. He did get closed down. He gives body locks really easily. Evlev. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
He's
Bad
forgiven.
idea.
He's
Bad
forgiven.
idea.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
Yeah, but that was his UFC debut. I remember that. Now I called it, and Evlev was just all over him, never let him breathe. He never stopped working, but he never got into it. And then he had a really really good fight against Simon Mokhtarian. That was his first win in the UFC, and those guys just threw down. You know, they like Mokhtarians. Both the Mokhtarian brothers are immensely tough and durable and game for a fight.
Do you think Erosa edges it here?
I think based on experience he does, yeah. I think based on experience. I mean, the good thing is that Sung Woo Choi's got a well-rounded experience in the UFC now. You know, he's 2-2. He's been decision lost. He's been rear naked choked by Gavin Tucker. Then he's had 2 decision wins, but over a guy that will stand and trade with him and a guy in Yusuf Salal that will not ever hold still.
Yeah.
So no matter what version of Erosa he gets, he's seen a bit of that. Yeah. It's just about decision making, and he does tend to charge into range a bit. And because he's so tall, he often gives underhooks quite easily. And Erosa won't take the hard route to victory.
No,
if he feels like he can sub
experienced,
him,
isn't he? Yeah.
If he feels like he can take him down and sub him, and that's the easiest way to go about it, he'll do it. He's past the point where he's performing for everybody else now.
Yeah.
Junior Erosa is now at the stage where he's fighting to make
Getting
his
stuff done.
cash. It's his job.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, nice.
So he got 11 submissions. Look at that. 11 knockouts and 11 submissions on his record.
Well rounded.
Yeah, lovely. Let me just have a quick look at what he's got. So flying knee, Darce choke, bulldog choke, head kick to punches, TKO to punches, knee and punches, triangle choke, TKO, doctor stoppage, Bravo choke, knockout from a knee. I mean, we're seeing the pattern here, aren't we? Triangle choke. So it's all about heads and arms, isolating a neck, isolating a head and an arm, or catching them with a knee. A variety of knees. Arm bars in his early career, more Bravos.
Nice.
I think
it's a good fight.
Yeah, I think it should be a really good fight. I think Sung Woo Choi might be just a bit out of his depth in this one.
Yeah. That was my feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
This is a rematch from 2016, isn't it? Marlon and Davy Grant.
Yes.
Is that what you've got next?
Yes, it is,
Marlon and Davy Grant.
Yeah.
It's wild when you look back at that and see the sort of character that Marlon's created around him compared to what he sort of looks like back then. It's like two different people.
Davy Grant was out for a bit, wasn't he? Oh, he lost 2 fights after beating Marlon Vera.
Yeah.
He had the bout with Manny Bermudez was cancelled and moved because Grant got a staph infection. There we go.
Yeah.
Another cancelled bout against Smolka. Oh, because of coronavirus. Oh, that was the London show, was it? Yeah, it was. But, you know, like good win. Like Jonathan Martinez is, I mean, he's a sociopath, that's for sure. I love the kid, but he's mental.
Yeah.
He's definitely unhinged.
Mental.
I sat interviewing him for about 15 minutes in one of the fighter meetings at Fight Island, and he was quiet and he's don't want to make eye contact, and you know he's real shy. But then all of a sudden he goes off on this story about the school that he went to was near like a juvenile detention center, and often the kids would.
Yeah,
you remember telling me about this?
Yeah, they were scrapping like what's his thing?
Like these kids would come out of the detention center, and he would tell his mate, he's like, I want to fight him. And he'd just like, he'd send his mate, like, you know, like, go and ask her out for me. Yeah. And he was like calling people out. He's like, got a matchmaker. And he was Thai boxing, like on grass or on cardboard boxes, low kicking guys, kneeing guys. You know, he's a good fighter.
Yeah.
Davy Grant looked really good in that fight. And he got hurt, didn't he? He got hurt in the first round.
Yeah.
And then came back to stop him in the second. Martin Day's another good finish as well. You know, a really talented striker, good taekwondo background. Grigory Popov again, you know, split decision, that one, a bit more challenging.
I just feel like the Marlon that I watched in that fight compared to the Marlon I sort of see now is radically
They're just
improved.
Different. Yeah,
like
for sure they
radically
are.
improved. And I think Davy Grant has got a lot better, but maybe not quite at the same rate. And it'd be interesting to see where that sort of levels out now, whether he's slightly above or below or whatever. But yeah, I just feel like whether it's a confidence thing for Marlon or it's him time at the coalface, you know, it's 5 years. That's a hell of a lot of training that's gone in the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's tough, man. He's tough. He's skilled. He lost out to Jose, didn't he, and Sonny Dong, who are both,
Yeah.
both very, very legit guys in the division. When I look at him, I feel like he would be pissed that he's ranked like 15th in that division, and he's like determined to make that right. Because he sort of walks around, and his character is someone that is like top 10 in it, at least.
Yeah, for sure. He expects himself to be ranked higher, which is part of the reason why he's so aggressive and confident in his fights.
Yeah.
But he like that fight against Song Yadong, I scored that for him. I thought he had 2 rounds. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I thought it was a. I've seen a couple of people in the comments say we're quiet. Are we quiet?
Oh, really? Apparently, I like whisper talk.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
We're the Raptors. Are we all good, Raptors? Sounds all right. Okay, well. The what? We'll figure it out. First time we're streaming live on this, so you'll have to bear with us. But let us know in the comments if we are quiet or loud or,
Or useless.
whatever. Yeah, useless. I mean, people don't hold back with that.
No, they don't.
They always tell us.
They love it.
Okay.
Right.
So who are you going with? You going with Marlon Vera? You think he's going to edge it? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
He is a different fighter to the first time around, for sure. And he's certainly got more of a chip on his shoulder now, and that does come across in his fights. And sometimes I feel like Davey Grant can be a bit of a slow starter. He's a very skilled fighter. I mean, that knockout of Jonathan Martinez, like lovely little step through, came over the top with the left.
I wonder if him sort of. What is that?
Oh, it's the neighbours working.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I wonder if they can hear that. Oh, I can hear it. So.
Carry on.
Yeah, I wonder if Davey seems to have got more and more confidence in his stand-up. But this might not be the best route for him. Is that to put Marlon on his back and do some damage from a half guard or something might be a better route for him. But if he's like, oh, my striking's going real good, I think I want to stand and strike with him. Might be a mistake, but
yeah. But at the same time, I think you could underestimate Marlon on the ground as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. I mean, I could see Marlon just attacking him left, right, and centre as soon as it hits the ground, and Davey being like, no, get out of here.
Right.
I expect this one to be a bit of a kickboxing match. Any tussles when it hits the ground, I think it will be so fiery on both sides that they'll
Just
both
disengage
bail
and
out.
get back up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. We'll go with Marlon. Much as I do enjoy Davey Grant, I think he might. Marlon
Might be a bit
might
much.
just have the edge. Yeah.
I mean, he's also been competing up a level, hasn't he? That's the other thing. Like his expectation of himself is up a bit now.
Yeah. He's in the Shark Tank up at that top of that division.
Whereas Grant's climbing. He's still on his way. Okay, main event. Alexei Olenek, 59-15-1 against Sergey. Sorry, co-main. Yeah, against Sergey Spivak.
It's like a dads and lads game, isn't it? It is. Your dad brings you down, play football with them. Mate, Olenek could have fathered him, I think.
He could have done. So
and then taught him everything he knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'd probably be a better fighter if Olenek had taught him everything he knew as well.
I mean,
Olenek's got such depth to his game. Maybe not his striking game.
Yeah, it's just a funny matchup, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine it any other way other than a very, very intense grappling match, pretty much up against the fence or lying on top of each other for prolonged periods of time? Imagine if they just stand and bang with each other.
No chance. Olenik's too long in the tooth to realise that he's
not interested, is he?
He's not rolling. He's not interested. But my only wish for Olenek is that he had a bit more finesse in closing the distance, because he does kind of like high speed zombie. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah. All he wants is just to touch it. I got you. That would do.
Yeah. And I mean, his why am I forgetting what it's called? Ezekiel choke. He's ridiculous. Like you go back and watch when he choked out who's
He's done it so many times as well.
Yeah, Victor Pesta.
Yeah.
So Victor Pesta was in mount.
Yeah.
And he was like out. Like when he sat up, he looked at the referee like
what the fuck?
Why are you stopping the fight? I'm in mount. Like it was. But then, like Junior Albany, as soon as he was locked up on the feet, he knew what was happening. He still couldn't stop it. It's a bit like OSP and the Von Flue choke. It's just it's come to me. Ben Rothwell and the Go-Go choke.
Yeah,
I think a bit of it is physiology as well.
Yeah.
I had him put it on me.
That body type.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He used his head a lot more than you would think.
Right.
He wrapped me up in it. I was calling his fight in St. Petersburg. But what he does is obviously with the gi, you've got a grip
Cross,
there you can work with, but he hasn't. So he's just wrapping his arms over one another, but he's driving a fist into your neck, and he's also driving with his own head as well. So you kind of
It's like,
it's horrible.
ugh. Do you
Horrible.
think especially Olenek is too skilled for them to neutralize each other, and it just becomes a bit of a stalemate? Do you think Olenek has got so many different options that he's unlikely to get stalemated out of it?
Yeah, I do. Because I think he'll always be able to keep the fight moving on the floor.
Yeah.
And whenever Sergey Spivak, if it ends up on the floor and Spivak decides that he's going to posture up to ground and pound, immediately that space that is created turns the game around to where Olenek starts attacking. The only way it works differently is if Olenek's gone down to the ground because he's hurt.
Right.
Like if Spivak comes in and just blasts him with a couple of shots and he goes down, he might find himself in half guard top with Olenek kind of curled up and covering, and he might be able to get the finish there.
Yeah.
But to take him down and control him is going to be incredibly difficult. And there's no position on the floor that you can be in where you're safe from being attacked.
No, not
like
at
if he
all.
can sub you from mount bottom, like you've got to be on his back. But even then, he's got some kind of ankle lock, foot lock, or
Yeah. Do
something.
not cross your feet. Do not cross your feet. It'll be
There'll be
it'll
something.
ankle locking you.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see this becoming a bit of a snooze fest up against the fence, and they just lean on each other.
Yeah.
And they're barely working each other. But,
Potentially.
we'll
But
see.
then if it is if they are holding each other up against the fence, I'm still picking Olenek to be able to
Probably,
get that
yeah.
Ezekiel
Yeah, he'll be the
choke.
one doing the holding.
Yeah. Spivak's
Yeah.
got to keep this one moving, keep it at space, and
Yeah,
not
for
let
sure.
Olenek zombie him and get his hands on him. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward game plan for him, really. Just don't touch him with anything other than
Yeah.
the knuckles of your gloves.
No. Don't touch him with anything you're not immediately retracting.
Yeah, or you
Yeah.
can cut off and triage the fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the old dog will get this, don't you?
Yeah, I kind of feel like he will.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, everyone's going to pick Spivak, I think, because obviously he's the younger guy. But well, let's put it this way: when Alexei Olenek was making his pro debut against, hang on, I've got to scroll a long way down to get to the bottom of his record, against Artem Kondratko at the Minamoto Cup. That was in 1996,
Holy shit.
which means that Sergey Spivak was just about one.
Genuinely in nappies.
So when Olenek turns around to Spivak and say, "I've had more fights than you've had hot dinners, young man,"
He's not lying.
he's not lying.
Yeah.
Okay, main event.
Yeah, main event.
Go on then.
It'd be-
Chan
it'd be
Sung
fun,
Jung.
wouldn't it? Are you doing a war room?
Yes,
You
I
done
am.
one?
I'm going to do it immediately after this.
Right.
Might even do it live if people want it. If people want it immediately. Oh no, we're going to add some stuff to it. I'll let the Raptors.
okay.
Go on, Karen.
Well, the first thing that struck me is when you think about the Dana White Contender Series, you feel like people coming out of that are like new rookies.
Mm-hmm.
But he's on his 10th fight now in the UFC. Like he's actually been around for a fairly long time, and he's becoming a bit of a mainstay of the roster, isn't he? Like he's a highly skilled fighter. He timed a beautiful right hand against Gavin Tucker, didn't he? Like it was,
Same thing.
Yeah.
Traded the low kick.
yeah. But
Traded the low kick.
they mirrored each other for a little bit. They went in, out. They both went out, then they in, out, and then they both came in at the same time. And he's like, boop! And it was very, very nice. He's good, man. He's very good, and I think this is a good test for him. But I think he could come out all right here.
You reckon? Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, like Dan Igue's got good footwork, but when he attacks, he tends to move in a straight line. Like he moves, and then he goes. And when he's covering distance, it's usually started with a left hook or a right hand, or he's level changing.
Yeah.
And he did a level change and shot across the octagon against Calvin Kattar.
Yeah.
Wasn't able to finish any takedowns.
Yeah.
I don't think it's wise for him to be on the ground with Korean Zombie because, like, you think back to Zombie's UFC debut. So, like, he was famous and he was, like, the Zombie name became a thing after his first fight with Leonard Garcia in WEC.
From the Twister.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. No, his first fight with Leonard Garcia
right.
was a war.
Yeah.
Just an absolute crazy fight. But then when they both signed with the UFC, when WEC was absorbed, that was the first fight to make for both of them.
Yeah.
But then obviously everyone expected it to look like the last
Yeah.
fight, and Zombie twisted him in the first
I
round.
feel like Chan Sung Jung, well, Korean Zombie has, because of his name, he almost has more kudos than his record actually suggests, because he's pretty inconsistent. Like he'll win a few, he'll lose a few. He took a couple of years out he's on national service, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in the military.
in South Korea. Yeah,
Guarding the wall.
is that? Yeah, right.
Well, it's,
Yeah.
north of the wall.
Have they made up now? I think they've all made. I think they have.
Have they?
I think they've made up a little bit. Like I think a while ago it was the first time maybe the president had been in North Korea or the other way around. Like they'd stood on each other's ground or something like that.
Is that right?
Yeah, weird. Countries are weird.
Weird.
Um,
I understand what you mean about the inconsistency, but it's like when he's on, people are like, "Oh, this guy's amazing!"
Yeah.
Like one of the best knockouts that you'll ever see in the UFC, and not because it was anything particularly flamboyant, but because it was so clean, was the Moicano knockout.
yeah,
And one thing that's worth bearing in mind about a Korean Zombie's mentality is because he's got that zombie mentality, because he doesn't mind taking shots and his priority is always to land his own. Sometimes he'll take some in the process. But because he steps into the octagon with that mindset of you can hit me, I'm going to hit you at the same time, and I'm going to win this trade, he's able to stay present with his eyes open while people are throwing shots. So like in that moment where Moicano throws his jab, instead of the Korean Zombie blinking his eyes and turning his head away or slipping with his eyes closed, he waits for the perfect opportunity, eyes open, like you can hit him and it doesn't matter, and he just moves himself to the center line and cracks him with the right hand. It's his
Yeah.
ability to stay present in the pocket because he just doesn't care if you hit him.
yeah.
And I don't know as Dan Igue's got the pop to really cause him any issues.
Okay.
I mean, Brian Ortega hit him with all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
That's
he
that
did, didn't
elbow
he?
that he caught him with, you know.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying with, like, he stays in the
right. So
pocket.
if Brian Ortega couldn't put him away with all of that, can Dan Ige put him away?
I think the best thing for Dan Ige to do is to look at a decision victory and just completely outpoint him.
Right.
Because like there's a lot that can be learned from the Calvin Kattar fight for Dan Ige. You know, he tried a lot of things and he just wasn't able to do it. And if he allows it, this fight's going to look very much the same.
Right.
I mean, Kattar's got a slightly higher work rate, but I would say that Korean Zombie's got probably pound for pound a little bit more power in his hands. He's just got natural power, Korean Zombie, and because he's able to stay present in the pocket, he's able to land it
use
so
that.
cleanly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Right. Interesting.
and he was all over Frankie Edgar in that first round as well. It was a really good performance. But yeah, I think the smart thing for Danny, I'll discuss it a bit more in depth in the war room, but I think the smart thing for Dan Ige to do is to not attack first.
Right.
Like move laterally, feint, move into range a little bit, see if you can get Korean Zombie to throw. Because Zombie's going to wait for you to go.
Right.
Like he wants to counter your shots. So he pressures and offers his face as bait, so you
Yeah.
throw and he slips and counters.
Okay.
If Ige's attacking first, he's either going to run onto a straight right or he's going to get countered as he's throwing the punch. I think that there's a smart way for him to approach this, and he is a smart guy, you know. And one of the reasons why I say that is because he's already started thinking about his post career, like he's getting into fighter management and all that kind of stuff. So he is a planner.
Yeah.
You know, it shows that mentality. And the best thing for him to do is to feint, get Zombie to throw first, and then chase his punches back. Because Zombie is he does throw one shot at a time. So once that one shot's gone and started to retract, he could probably chase it in with 2 or 3. It's going to be a tough fight for Ige to win, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I do.
Right.
But I rate Zombie highly, and even if he's able to ground Zombie like he wasn't able to do against Calvin Kattar,
You're rolling the dice down there.
rolling the
aren't you?
dice there.
Bad.
I mean, you know, Leonard Garcia's no mug, and he got twisted.
I know. What a sub to be able to pull off at that level.
Amazing.
It's not easy, is it?
It's not easy.
Not at all. Yeah.
Especially because it's one of those submissions that the person knows what's happening as it's happening.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know it. You know what they're doing. Like your legs locked down. They're trying to clear this arm.
Oh no.
Oh, it's all falling apart.
What was it?
That was Davey Boy Smith. He's no longer with us.
He's
Bless him.
out the Royal Rumble.
Oh dear. Well, Friday's
He's gone
coming.
over the edge of the. He's gone over the edge of the cage in the Royal Rumble.
Well, Friday's coming, and Owen Oxley's coming over, and we've got a whole bag of toys to go through. So we'll find some replacements for him. I think there's a Ric Flair in that bag as well. It's a bit of a mystery bag. Someone's donated them to us. Good old Steve Smith. He's a big fan of the channel, and he's donated a whole bag of toys for us to play with. I'm gonna get an N64 out as well.
Oh, with Owen on the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You must have been a guy. Of course, GoldenEye.
The only game.
It's the only game.
May as well have only bought that out
That's it.
for N64.
It should have just been built into the console. That
Yeah.
it was amazing. That. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it was
that's one bit of pop culture you remember.
Yeah, I
yeah?
can
Maybe
remember
that's
that.
why you don't
I
remember
remember that,
fucking
yeah.
anything else.
It was just that.
Maybe that's why
That
you
and
don't remember
Manager.
Star Wars. Is
Champ Manager destroyed my GCSEs. Is
that right? Yeah.
Yeah, awful.
GoldenEye was mine.
Yeah,
I wasted so much
Loved it.
time on GoldenEye.
yeah, right. Oh, God. Well, hope they enjoyed it live.
Yeah, right. How
First
was
one in
this?
the
Oh,
bag.
wait, should we ask for questions? You got
Yeah.
any questions? If you got questions, drop them in the
Well, it's
group.
360 of you. Must have a question.
You got 300. I've got 418
Oh,
on
have you?
mine.
Mine.
422 now.
Being weird. Let me refresh mine. So,
Your internet's
oh, yeah,
just
there
4
we go,
days older than
422.
mine, isn't it? Because you're
right.
older. Your internet is reflected on the age between us. How's your
Shut
training been
the
going? You were
fuck
in
up.
you were on the mats yesterday with the team, weren't you?
Yeah, it's going all right.
It's
going all right.
going all right.
It's going all right. I'm finding my level.
Yeah.
There's a level at the gym I can't deal with.
You had a horrible round.
Normally
with Jimmy,
begins
didn't you?
with James and ends with Wallhead. I just can't deal with it. It's just I've got no answers to his questions. It's miserable. But no one else does, so
That's true.
it was too bad about
At least
it.
that make you feel a bit better. The fact that everybody else is in the same
Yeah.
boat with him.
Our Monday is, we were chatting about it earlier, it's brutal.
It is.
It's just brutal.
I love it. Well, people
Yeah.
have been seeing a few photos and a bit of a live stream as well. And
It's not stupid brutal.
Yeah.
It's just it's
oh yeah,
well
no,
thought out
it's the
brutal.
pace is brutal. Oh, I've
Yeah.
got some questions coming
There we
through
go.
here. Why don't you have a Barbie? Because why would I? Nate v Tony, yes please.
Yeah, go for
At
it.
170, I want to see Tony at 170. What's my number one lock? I like Yale. Yale are good locks. I think my front door lock is a Yale.
Can't think of another lock.
What else?
Who's your pick for the next Leon
Are you fighting
fight?
Logan Paul? I'd take that fight any day of the week. You know what I mean? Remember Brandon Vera? Yes, I do remember Brandon Vera.
Yeah, Brandon Vera's still around.
Yeah, he
He's fighting
fights in one. He's just lost the
Yeah.
heavyweight title.
He's lost a few, I think, recently, isn't he? But he's
He lost to Ung La as well because he went down to
Yeah.
fight the. He went down to fight Ung La for the light heavyweight belt, which obviously in one is 225.
Yeah.
But yeah, jeez.
What we got?
Do you like only dollies or muscle men? What? Who calls them dollies?
Dollies. What are you for?
All right. Anyway, these are
Anyway.
shit questions. You lot are a letdown. I thought we were going to get some good shit.
Anything?
Think of them for next time. What's the next card we're doing?
What's next week? It's just fast.
Oh, hang on. There's
what?
There's a voice in the wall.
No,
No, it's
it's
not.
not next week.
He's such a McGregor fanboy, ain't he? It's ridiculous. Get your hand out of your pants, mystery. I'm not even looking, and I know you're doing it. Volkov against Gan next week.
Oh, good. I'll be interested to watch Cyril again. You know, he was very good last time out, wasn't he?
Yeah. Shavkat
Very good.
Rakhmonov on the card. Oh, Jai Herbert against Moicano.
Ooh.
That's a rough one. Moicano. Very, very good fighter. And another good example of someone going up a weight class
Yeah.
and looking shit hot. All right. Well, we'll wrap it there then, shall we?
Yeah, let's wrap it there. See if there's any questions coming through. East London MMA gym recommendation.
East
Who's
London.
in East London?
Brad Pickett?
Yeah, it must
Trojan?
Be. It must be. Yeah, Brad Pickett.
I think so. Wicked.
All right,
All right,
let's wrap
nice
it.
one.
Nice.
Thanks, everybody.
Nice one,
Thanks
done.
for joining the live stream.
See
Hope
you
you've
next
enjoyed
week.
it. Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Yeah.